So hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, as the title suggests, we're going to do something a little bit different. Today we're going to be comparing my Apple Watch with a Whoop band. If you've been following me on Instagram, you will have seen I got this delivered about 2 weeks ago now. So I just thought I'd do a bit of comparison. A lot of people were asking which you prefer. I'm going to be keeping both, and as the title suggests, one of them will be going at the end of the video. So we are going off 6 different metrics. So we're going to be going off looks, we're going to be going off comfort, workout function, sleep tracking, price, and overall package as a whole. And at the end, we will do a comparison of the 2 scores and see which one wins and which one is going. My Apple Watch that I have is the brand new Series 6. Before this, I had the Series 2. I got that in sort of summer 2017 and had it until this new one came out. So I've got it in, I believe it's titanium, the casing, and then I've just got one of the sports bands on it. I do, for sort of nights out and special occasions, whip out the Milanese band, which I think is probably one of the best things about the Apple Watch, is that you can sort of customise it to yourself. And the Whoop band, I just got it with the standard black band, which is it's like a mesh with a sort of, I don't know if you see that, it's like a rubber rise strip on the inside to give you some grip. Very basic though, and bland, I'd say. It looks a bit like a police tag, I'm not going to lie. It does look like you're on tag. So I actually had to as well search on YouTube for a video of how to put this thing on, because it wasn't straightforward as you would think. Like the Apple Watch is just a straight up loop buckle, goes in like that. So the scores I've given for the Apple Watch, I would say myself a 9 out of 10. The screen is nice and big, I've got the larger screen on this one. And I think just the customization of the different bands that you can use on it to make it as personalised as you can. So yeah, I'm going for a 9 with the Apple Watch. With the Whoop band, I'm only going with a 4, mainly because it doesn't have a screen and it does look like a police tag. You can still customise the bands and the sort of little buckle, but yeah, for me, it doesn't look that great. On the first round of looks, these are the scores. We have Apple coming in at 9 and Whoop coming in at 4. The next round is comfort. Now I'd say both of them are very comfortable. They're not too noticeable. The only thing that I would be wary on both of them is sometimes they can catch on things like doors and things like that when you're walking past. And when you take like a long sleeve top off, I've noticed that this piece of the band sort of comes off quite easily. Other than that, I would say the Whoop is slightly comfier, and I think it may be due to the sort of rubberized strip on the inside, whereas these bands can get, like, especially if you work out in them, they can get sweaty and you have to clean them a lot. But that being said, you can swap for different types of bands. It doesn't have to just be a sports band, whereas I think the Whoop is pretty limited just to these sorts of bands, the same materials, different colours. I have given the score for the Apple at 7, and the Whoop I will give an 8, just because it is slightly more comfier. The reason that being is because I actually sleep with the Whoop band on, whereas the Apple Watch I have to charge at night. The Whoop band has about 5 days worth of battery, and you don't have to take it off to charge it. The battery pack goes straight on, basically. So I don't like sleeping with my Apple Watch on. It can get a bit uncomfortable. The Whoop hasn't been too bad, and that's why it takes this round. So the scores at the end of round 2 are here. So, workout function. With the Apple Watch, you can do it straight from the watch because of the screen function that it's got, and it is very, very simple. So, let's see if you can see this. So, we simply scroll across to a workout, select one of the workouts, and it does a little 3-second timer and starts. Whereas the Whoop obviously does not have any sort of screen, so you have to go into an app. You go into the Whoop app, which is very easy still, but start activity, and then you've got a load of different activities that you can choose from. The only thing is, if you want to see how you're doing during the workout in terms of calories and strain and things like that, you have to open your phone to check it, whereas you can, whilst working out, check your Apple Watch really quickly, see what calories you're up to, see where the timer's up to. I'm going to give these two both a 7, and the reason that is because I find the Apple Watch sort of over-exaggerates the calories burnt, whereas the Whoop kind of is more accurate, but the fact that it doesn't have a screen and you've got to open your phone to check where you're up to, that downgrades it a little bit. If it had a screen and you could see quickly, it would have probably taken this round, but just because of the two downfalls of both the Whoop and the Apple Watch, they are going level at the 7. So the scores at the end of round 3 are here. This is how we are doing. So as you can see at the moment, Apple is ahead at 23 out of 30, with Whoop being just behind at 19. So coming in at round 4 is the sleep function. Now, this is the one where Whoop really brings it in for me, but we're going to start off with Apple. As you've probably seen, if you've got an Apple Watch, you know that there's the very basic sleep app, and it basically says when you go to bed and when you wake up. And to be honest, I think that that is very, very minimal, to be quite honest. There are apps out there on the market, but I'm just speaking about Apple when you take it out of the box, the Apple Watch. Whereas Whoop, you set your time when you go into sleep, so you, as you were doing it, as if it was a workout, you put on the sleep timer, and then it even tracks like all the data to say how long it's taking you to go to sleep. And then when you wake up, you basically turn the workout off. You get all your feedback, so you know how long you've been in deep sleep, how long you've been awake, REM sleep, how many disturbances you've had, how many breaths you take a minute on average, your resting heart rate. There's all this sorts of information, and then it gives you a recovery score at the end based on a journal that you also complete. So you can select the questions that you want are most relevant to you, and then that sort of feeds into the recovery score. The only thing about the Whoop as well, it takes about a week to a month to get to know you properly, and so some of the readings can be a little bit off to begin with whilst it's getting to know you, but that's just something that you've got to take into consideration. So based on sleep, I'm going to give Apple a 3, and that is just because of how basic the information that it gives you at the end. I'm going to give Whoop a 9, and that is one of the main reasons I actually got the Whoop band, because I wanted to track more about my sleep. I wanted to know what was causing these things, basically. I basically wanted to know what was causing why I was being so tired, or when I should be pushing myself in the gym, when I shouldn't be pushing myself, and that's why it takes this round. So after round 4 of sleep, Whoop has taken the lead. It is on 28 points, whereas the Apple Watch is at 26, both out of 40. So round 5 is to do with price. Now we're going to start off with the Apple Watch. I'm just on the App Store here. You can get an Apple Watch Series 6 on the aluminium case with a sports band for £379. I think that's for the smaller screen. So the bigger one is from £409. I think that's a reasonable price for a smartwatch. So the amount of stuff that you get on the Apple Watch, I would say that is a very fair price, starting at £379, or the bigger screen at £409. These obviously can get quite expensive. If you step up to the steel case, it starts at £699. The Apple Watch can get quite silly, especially if you look at like the Hermes, I hope I've said that right. They start at nearly £1,400, and there's not really any difference. All of the difference is the type of bracelet that you get with it, and you get a few extra different themes, which in the grand scheme of things aren't worth £1,400. Then we look at the Whoop Band. The Whoop Band is a subscription-based service, which does my head in. You can pay it in like a block, so like 6 or 12 months, or I think you can just sign up for £30 a month. There are a few discount codes out there, but they're only going to knock off about 15%, so not massive in the grand scheme of things. So for me, actually owning your Apple Watch is a lot more important to me than paying a subscription and never actually physically owning this band. So basically it makes this band like worthless, because I can't sort of sell it on to anyone for a price, because you don't actually pay for the band, you just pay for a subscription. So because of that, I'm going to give the Apple Watch an 8 out of 10, and I'm going to give the Whoop a 3. I think it's a reasonable price for £30 a month. It's not too bad, it's like £1 a day if you think about it, but I had my last Apple Watch for 3 years, and that cost me, I think I got it in America, so I got it a bit cheaper. It was about 280 quid. So that's roughly, call it £100 a year for 3 years. If I have this Whoop band for that same period of time, it's going to cost me over £1,000 for the same time period. So the Apple Watch wins that one quite comfortably. So after round 5, the Apple Watch is at 34 out of 50 and the Whoop band is at 31 out of 50. So the Apple Watch has crept back into the lead with 1 round to go. So the 6th and final round is the overall package. So with the Apple Watch, I think that it offers far much more than the Whoop band has to offer. So for instance, like I've previously said, it's got a screen. I can answer texts on it, I can take phone calls, tracks my activity. I've got a calendar, you can get your maps on here. You can take heart rates, ECGs, set timers, stopwatches, play music through it. And I probably don't even sort of use it to its full potential. There's probably so many more apps and functions that I could use on a day-to-day basis that I don't. So it's probably down to me to look into them a little bit more. Whereas the Whoop doesn't actually even track your steps. I didn't mention this in the workout function. You can't get a step count from your Whoop, and that's what a lot of people seem to be concentrating on these days, hitting those 10k steps each day. And it does seem like it has good intentions, but they're just not quite there as a smartwatch. I think it's sort of a glorified Fitbit, I'd say. Yeah. I don't think it's in the same category as an Apple Watch. I think the accuracy of the workouts and calories burn and sleep are far better than the Apple Watch. And if Apple could somehow transfer that over into their watch, then we'd probably have the best all-round watch on the planet. Hopefully the Series 7 next year, Apple can do something about it. As an overall package, like I previously mentioned with the price, I think the price of the Apple Watch far outweighs the Whoop band for value. It is ridiculous, like £400 for something that can do literally almost anything that your phone does is beyond me. Whereas a subscription-based service, which to be honest quite a lot of companies are going down that route these days, I'm not a fan of it. So for that reason, the overall package of the Apple Watch for me gets an 8 out of 10. The Whoop band is gonna come in at a 6, and that is only because of how good it is for sleep tracking. And even though the Whoop band is so good at sleep tracking, it's telling me stuff that I already know. Like if I go to bed late or don't sleep well and I wake up tired, I don't need an app to tell me that. I already know that I'm tired and probably not going to be best positioned to go and push myself hard in the gym. Whereas if I do have a good night's sleep and it tells me, I already know that I'm going to feel rested. So it's telling me stuff that I don't really need to know from a phone. There's also some other things I've been told by other people that have used them. They feel like they've had a good night's sleep, but then their recovery score is quite low, so they don't want to sort of push themselves, and their sort of life is being governed by a recovery score that's been calculated by some algorithm. So you start relying on these figures when they may not necessarily be quite right. If you feel good and you feel rested, then you probably are rested and you're probably in a good position to push yourself. So that brings me to the overall scores, and if you've been adding up already and off those last few comments, you probably know who's won. So the Apple Watch has came in at 42 out of 60 points, and the Whoop band has came in reasonably close at 37. And like I said at the start of the video, I will be getting rid of one. I've already been thinking about getting rid of this. I've just been waiting to do the YouTube video for it. So yeah, I will be getting rid of my Whoop band and get my money back. I'm still within the 30-day return policy. I gave it a go, and that was the main thing. I was sort of testing it out. I was umming about getting it, tried it out, and I just don't think it's quite for me. It might be for you. Let me know in the comments what you've got, whether it's an Apple Watch, whether it's a Whoop band or anything else. But yeah, for me it just tells me stuff that I already know. I'm already, like if I don't sleep very well, I already know. I don't need an app to tell me. If you like this video and want me to do some similar videos, then let me know. Get in the comments below. And if you got this far, make sure you drop a like, and if you're new, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.